Mr. Boyer, if you could give us an indication of the pledge.
Dear Father, thank you for this. I understand sometimes worldwide. So I just have so much grateful for what we have each and every day. Pray for our leaders of this country, leaders of this community, and help us to just do our very best with the information we have. Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Supervisor Ash had to be out of town this evening, so I'd like to remind everybody to respect the decorum of this meeting. Decorum's printed on the back of the agenda. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. We have no public hearings. We have no reports and presentations. Is there, Ms. Linda, public comment? Okay, we have one person signed up for public comment, Mr. Wingett. If you could please come to the podium, give us your name and address, and your 3 minutes will begin.
3 minutes. I got 3 pages.
I'm gonna cut you off for 3 minutes.
My name is Robbie Wingett. I'm at 160 Granite Lane, Independence, Virginia. And I'm here to discuss emergency services in Grayson County. And I want to first of all say that this is 100% my personal opinion. It does not represent any organization, any business, or anyone else's opinion. I'm here as a citizen of Grayson County, and what I'm talking about is totally my opinion. But my purpose is concerning emergency services in particular. Emergency medical services, fire, rescue, both important. When your house on fire, you want a fire truck there. Wouldn't put your house back. Might not be able to put the memories, we got memories, can't put the pictures and some of the things with it. We'll put you back in the house. When your heart stops and we don't get it started again, that's it. And so I am going to focus on the medical side of emergency services for a second. And my whole purpose here is to build it up, not tear it down. In Grayson County, EMS has grown from an infant to a fully grown, educated, and still learning adult. When discussing issues come up in conversations about where to go, how to go about it, I'm often told we need to take baby steps. Folks, we're beyond baby steps. We were babies in 1975, 76, 77 when these organizations were formed. We're past that. As you can see, some of us are well past the adulthood and in the grandparenthood. So when we say baby steps, we need to think beyond that. Volunteers back then, I can give you an example. In Independence, we'd go to the sheriff's office at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, pick up the pager from the person coming off, hand it to the person going in. Today, with the 911 system, it's a chain system. I can tell anywhere I am where emergency services are happening just from this cell phone. And whereas the gentleman that was here was talking about tracking folks, I have been in the field where you stand out in the middle of the field and say, I'm going to call you, dispatch on 911. You figure out where I'm at and land a helicopter on my head. And they can do that. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It has gone, the medical care has gone
Mr. Wayne, we're gonna have to speed it up if we can.
Mr. Chairman, pleasure, of the board, if we extend this time.
That was 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
All right,
Fits
Put-
the
put-
nature of it.
put 2 more minutes, put 2 more minutes.
Medical care has grown from low to go to the mobile emergency room. The constant has not changed. There has to be a person there to answer the call. Right now, there's not always a person there in Grayson County. Okay? Now, I'm gonna put it back on you and say that if it's your family, your friend, or you, do you want somebody there? The purpose of government is to provide for what the community cannot provide on its own. That's where the government comes in. Standard of care, negligence. I'm not even so far, it's not out too far on a limb saying that it's required that you provide that. And I'm going to question, would a board be negligent in not providing that standard of care to its citizens? And so I hope you'll consider that. The other thing that I would like to say is that the emergency services coordinator position that was created was a step in the right direction. It needs to continue to head in that direction and move forward. To find the money, you need to, there's nothing that's in your budget that's not worthwhile, but something's got to be a priority. Life is certainly got to be at the top of the list as a priority. I believe that it's time to review the circumstances with BOS Grayson Ambulance Services. It's a big amount of money in the budget. It has been a point of contention for years in the emergency services arena, and it's time to look at the whole picture, and especially including that. I also believe that it's a potential conflict of interest to have someone in Grayson County administration who deals with Grayson County budget to be a member of that board who also deals with their budget and helps with that. So I would suggest that be considered as well.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Wayne.
very much.
Thanks, Mr. Wayne.
I got to sign up for the bottom of the part and go 3 more.
Well, Mr. Wayne, I'd suggest that you, if you want more time to maybe come to a budget meeting and get on the agenda.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you listening.
Thanks, sir. All right, we have no old business, new business. I'm gonna bring, Mr. Kelly Wilmore, Grayson County School CIP decision up first, so he can be on his way.
Stuff I know what to do with tonight. Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Well, you have asked for plans, so all kinds of good stuff. Y'all can't share, right? Think you will share with somebody? I just want to make sure. You are. Here's one set of plans.
I'll
for
share
them,
with mine.
And here's one set, yeah. Here's one set of plans for the other side. Ladies first. Hey, there. Okay, so, and this is actually the addition. It was built on a school. I think this is Mount Airy. This is kind of what it looks like as a whole, just so you can see what an addition built onto the side of a school, an existing school, would look like for us. Steve, all in right there so you can look at them too, right, and pictures. And then I've got a copy for you here. This is 2 copies. I've got one that's got, this is, and you all, we emailed out, this is my hand scratching. And I'll go over these numbers in a minute. And then I've got also a plain copy for you as well. There you go. Maybe you want one too?
Yeah, it's yours to throw out there.
Take it. Here it is without like scratch.
Page 3, I guess. Or it's gonna be done at the same time. This cafeteria right here, so.
So you can kind of see the floor plan that's on there. This is a couple different ideas we've got. So we took out the library because the principal wants to move the library back into the old library and do a little bit of freshening up there, which we can do with just paint and some carpet and make that look just as good as new. The number one concern is the addition, adding an addition on, of course. That's 4 classrooms. We modified this from what we bought to you last time. We dropped this down to 5,482 square feet, or the architect did. This is 4 classrooms. Estimated cost of $400 a square foot would be $2,192,800. The kitchen is 2,600 square feet. This would include also expanding out. If you looked at the back there, you take the wall, you blow the wall out, drop it all the way back to where that bank is, and then we would expand the kitchen. And just so you know the history of that kitchen at IES, when they originally built IES, that kitchen was not there. That was a full cafeteria. They were running the meals from the middle school, high school over to IES for a year. That didn't work out, so they had to cut part of that cafeteria off, and that's why it's so tight right now, because they had to expand that into a kitchen. So what this would do would expand the kitchen as well as the cafeteria to add on. You're looking at about 2,600 square feet total, about 1,200 square feet of living space for the students. So you would add on what you got now, probably 6 to 8 more tables at least, and a little bit of room to put in a couple freezers or whatever we need. But this, if you're running 2,600 square feet, that's $1,040,000 total. If you want to do both projects, would be $3,200,000 or $232,800. Fees run about 6.5%. That runs to $3,442,000. And if you look on the bottom number here, we qualify through the grant to the Department of Education for 20% of any of those totals. So if you were just doing project A, if we just did the expansion, we would qualify for $438,000. If we just did the cafeteria, you would look for $208,000. So put them together, you got $600-some thousand, not including the fees, which we qualify for 20% of that too. So you get a little bit of your fees back. So this is kind of the 2 options I've got. We're quite frankly happy to do the first option if we could get it, just to get the addition built on. With the money we would qualify for, $438,000, it'd be a little more because of the expense on the other part. Close to $500,000. I did talk to DOE the other day. Zeke, you made a good point. Is there a way that if we just say, hey, you're not gonna give us 20%, we can get out of this? Yes, I would send a letter to you guys that you would frame saying that we need all 20% of this to make this even considered. So they are willing to meet us on that part. And if something happens and the world goes crazy by the time we try to all get this together, and let's say we put it out for bid and the bids come back 40% higher than what we thought, we still can get out of this and not accept the money. So we've got a win-win either way. And that's how we would word it. And we would have it worded with us and you guys both. These are the things that we'll have to do to make this happen.
Anybody got anything? Mr. Wilmore, it was a week ago that we got this request in the budget meeting. And in that week, it has gone up $80 a square foot and went from 30% to 20%. And I would rather the county spend $600,000 than to make a knee-jerk reaction just because it has to be. And I'm just speaking for me. I want to see the school supported and I want to see the school improved. But I mean, just in the past week, I think things have changed. And if we go ahead and sign this thing and say we want to do it, what's going to change in the next 2 weeks? And then to me, that's my concern.
Right. Sure. Well, the 30%, which if you read the grant, you qualify from 10% to 30%. Once we pulled our CIP out and talked to DOE, we realized that we qualify for 20%. That's a number that we will qualify for. We will not get the full 30. We're not that poor as they claim. We're not poor enough to get 30, right. But we're poor enough to get 20. So that's maybe a little bit positive. And right now, we're just doing guesstimates. We've talked to different companies that are doing construction right now, and we're basing it on about $400 a square foot. We can put 430. We did originally did 430 to go a little higher, but right now they're saying because we're using American materials, it probably won't be that bad,
right,
as it could be.
My fear right now is just committing to something that could likely go up another 50 to 100%, and that's I want to support the school. I don't, given this time frame of we have to have something signed by April 17th, I'm personally nervous about doing that.
Well, that's why I said we would write this, that we can still get out of it. You know, all you're doing is saying that we support the project. We're gonna write the letters, as I spoke to the person at DOE, saying that if this does happen, our worst fears, we go up 40 or 50% or 30%, we still can get, or you don't give us 20%, you give us 5%, we still can get out of this, all of us. And I'm not gonna, my board and myself, we're not gonna move forward unless we have those options, just like what you're saying. So all we're asking is, you know, we can get on board together for the 17th. We can see, we might not get this. We might not get a dime. I don't know. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But, you know, I'm getting an opportunity to get free money. If I can get the free money, get an RFP out and get everything locked in, then we got a shot.
I hear you. And that decision has to be made at the next budget meeting, correct?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to put us in any kind of harm where we're going to get locked into something. I'm going to have, and we'll have the letter written out for you guys to look at ahead of time. We're going to have options when they get out of this thing, if it gets crazy. Absolutely.
That's our main concern.
Yeah. Oh, mine too. Well, we're in here with you. I mean, yeah, if we don't, if it comes up off.
At our next budget meeting, which is next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
That's the
Yes.
17th.
17th. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's the day.
You'll have to make a decision
That
because
day.
he needs it on the 8th. He needs it Friday.
So we have to do it that day.
You have to vote.
But I think the key.
And we can pledge support with these clawback clauses.
Absolutely. And we're gonna put the stipulation in there, as I explained to her, we gotta have the 20%. You know, we can't have 10%. We need 20%. We need the money. Yeah, I mean, and she understood that. But, you know, that's the key to the whole thing.
I know we voted on things in the past in work sessions, but I still, somewhere along the lines, I feel like we weren't supposed to be having action items in a work session.
In the budget
And I
session.
think we learned that at Tech when we were
I think he's right.
training.
So we would
That
have
might
to
be a
have,
good
a-
question.
we would have to have an additional special
Like,
afterwards.
I guess in my.
Or before.
Well, I mean,
So if you're not committing, if you're not committing funds at that time, you're committing action. I didn't think that was, well, if you want to vote tonight, you certainly can on this.
Right.
Hmm.
But if this isn't something that your hard date is next Friday.
It is. It's gotta be in by 3 o'clock, I believe, or 5 o'clock next Friday.
well, could we vote tonight that we would pledge support and list the stipulations that we would require to have in the,
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're on the same page. We've got the same concerns. My board has the same concerns as you guys do. We definitely need, we know we need the 20%. We definitely know that this thing at some time could fly the other direction with the expenses. But, you know, right now, you know, I explained this to them and they're very cooperative of trying to help us, I believe.
We'll get a draft of the letter
Yeah.
and so that we could all, including Mike, see it and
I
discuss it.
think you're going to want to review that.
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
you-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But-
Or before we sign it.
we don't have to sign anything. We just have to approve sending the letter to the DOE, and we can do that in a budget work session, I think.
All I need is Mr. Ivy's autograph on just like we had Mike's before. But you're right, we gotta have stipulations on there in case, you know, things get crazy.
Well,
Could we
You could-
pledge
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
our support contingent upon the approval of the letter that Mr. Willmore's gonna provide us?
yeah, we're the ones that approved the letter, so,
Mhm.
it's just a matter of the board having consensus that we're gonna send a letter to the school board supporting the project, not to exceed X, and if we don't get X, we don't have to
So it
proceed.
wouldn't require a vote if
I don't
it's
think
just
so.
consensus.
I don't think last time there was a vote. I think you guys just agreed as a group and Mike signed it for us. I don't
If
remember
the
what it was
chairman
about.
signs something, I think it.
Yeah, I want consensus if I'm signing something.
It might require a vote.
Yeah, I agree. We want you to have consensus.
Well, then, of course, I can't make a motion, but if somebody wants,
One other piece I want you to think about, I guess. Secondary step. If those are approved, is the board willing to take the necessary fiscal action to make that happen?
And so we were talking earlier to pull, the county doesn't have the money to do this. It would require borrowing money and raising the levy to cover the debt service. So,
You don't have to make that decision now, but
Right,
I think it should come into your.
but if X, X, and X come through and we do this committal letter, then we're committing to supporting the expansion at school, which means we're gonna have to raise the revenue to do it.
And I think we all agree that the school needs what it needs. But I don't know if this is the right time, for my, it's my individual opinion as far as what we're looking at with the budget.
Well, all I tell you guys is roll the dice to even see if we get the money first. We're hoping we've got, that's why we put money in this CIP over the last couple of years, is to do a project or something we need. So that's where we're kind of hoping we could put two and two together, whether we got money for CIP along with the money, if we get this free money. But like I said, it's like you and I were talking about, like, we don't know next year if we're gonna get this, it's all.
We're getting $600,000 and then borrowing $3 million. That's the decision we
Understand.
have.
But if
I
we
completely
roll the
understand.
dice, I mean, and you get snake eyes, and then we've committed and pledged, so we've kind of stuck our shovel in the dirt already without having the funding to back it up.
And is this is not a formal quote, right? This is just saying this school over here costs this much.
But yeah, this is based on companies we've talked to currently, what they're charging. Most of them are coming right now at $380 a square foot. I put this at $400. You can do any number you want that makes you happy. There's nothing. Tomorrow, you're right, Brown. It may change. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But right now, the material market is pretty high right now. The materials are pretty good in America for the things we need. It's going to be block. It's going to be plaster, lights. We're able to get those things. But it's like I said. We'd like to put. We appreciate you guys that put money back. And had things set back for us over the last couple of years to be able to do something with the project. So. Moving forward, we'd like to do something like this. And this is kind of our focus right now. We've always, bless his heart, when John Fant was over here, we always talked about having a plan and how we were going to go in certain order. And right now, I guess the most pressing place I've got of all the schools is Independence Elementary by far. Because
I agree with that, and I would be in favor of signing the letter as long as there's a consensus on the board to do that. But I have to have those securities in place.
sure, absolutely.
If all that's in place, I'm in support of fixing the Independence Elementary School. I'm in support of funding it with raising it 1 penny on the levy to cover the debt service that it would have to do that, because I think that the school needs to be fixed. That being said, I can't make a motion. And I think if we are going to do a motion tonight, since we don't know for sure that we can do it in a word, the motion would be something like the board would agree to send a letter of support to the Grayson County School Board to seek this grant money. And as long as X, X, and X doesn't happen, then we will have our continued support. I don't think that's committing us to any funding with the letter, but it is committing us to support.
I kind of want to, I feel like we need a quote. I would feel better if we had a quote. I agree that's what the construction company says, but we may be in a unique situation because I know in a lot of other areas it's cheaper to build than it is here. I'm residential, I know.
Sure.
Is this grant, is it available once a year?
It is. It is a grant that's approved by the House and the Senate both. Right now, it may not happen every year. In the 9 years I've been here and 12 overall as superintendent, this bill has not come to fruition every year. So next year it may not happen. This year, construction money is in there for schools.
It just depends on the budget.
It just depends. And as far as getting a quote, you're not gonna get a quote. This isn't like, this isn't like going out here and getting gas quotes. We'll have to do an RFP and we'll have bids. We'll have construction companies actually come in and make bids. Now, if they come in and they're 40% over budget of what we've talked about here, then, you know, we could set the budget. We could say we've got to stay within 400 square foot, $400 square foot, or 410 or whatever. If it comes back and it's way over, then we're done. You know, we'll have that contingency in this letter to DOE for both of us. Because we're not gonna do this. We don't have the funding to do this. And if it comes back and, you know, this would be quick. We would know by the end of the month, we're gonna get this money. And I would be back to you guys next month saying, here's what I got. You want to go forward or not? It's gonna be your call.
So you would know by the end of next month?
It's supposed to be by the end of this month. Yeah. Supposed to turn in on 17th, supposed to know by the end of the month is when they will allegedly announce it. I guess call each individual. Now, I don't think they'll make it out public till the middle of the next month.
In reality, this isn't a shovel-ready project today.
No, but it will be.
How long would it take to finalize drawings? I mean, I know these are just drafts, but
Not with those guys, not long. He's really good.
Yancey.
Yeah, he's top notch. He's the best one I've dealt with. No, he
How long
moved.
is the RFP period, Mr. Whitman?
Oh, you'd have to put it out probably about to go up to 30 days. You're gonna have to get out. You have to post it for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and then you have to have a pre-planning meeting, and then it'll be another week after that. Steve, is that what you've had with yours?
On both sides of that project.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have that time.
Yeah, you're gonna at least have 30 days. So you're not looking to start this until June, and then you got 6 months to get it done. But now you got construction companies who understand that, and they'll get it done.
Any other question?
Have we talked about financing? Have we talked about what we're looking at? How much? I mean, we've got, is it 1.9 million in this, CIP? What would we be looking at finance?
There's 1.9 that's been
Allocated.
but there's not a set fund for this.
Yeah.
We certainly have some cash reserves. I think that's a different discussion on how much we've been doing some analytics on our cash reserves, where we're at, what we need to keep, what, you know, keeps the treasurer's office comfortable for paying bills. We'll have that for you on Thursday. We've done some data on that. We would certainly have to take out a loan to accomplish this. I went to the bank and spoke to Skyline. They don't have any numbers yet. I did speak with Davenport. There's options out there somewhere in their neighborhood of 5 to 5.5%, 5 to 5.5%. If you took out a, you know, $2.5–3 million note, you're a little over a penny to do something like that on the levy. Depending on how much cash you want to keep. So it's kind of the financial side of it.
If we can commit to sending the letter of support that we will go down this path with putting the safety guards in place, that's what we're deciding on tonight. Are we going to submit a letter that we will support the school system's project if the safety measures are in place? That's all we're voting on tonight.
And there's no financial commitment coming from the board.
And we don't want it. We don't, because we're doing the same thing. We're gonna make sure that there's stipulations in here in case we do an RFP and all the RFPs come back 40% higher than what we've come up with. Because we know how much money we've got to work with here. If we're out of it, we're not, trust me, I don't want to do like the superintendent before me. I'm not gonna go over budget. So I'm trying to do my best. Right, Zeke? Right, there you go.
So that doesn't, I don't
Put you
even
off
know if that requires a vote or doesn't, it probably requires consensus that we're gonna.
I think you want consensus on that.
And Steve, if you want to do it this way, let's say we're on board, we're going to send this letter with these stipulations, and let's say we get it. We're still about to come back to you the next month to see if you want to do it. You're still got to vote on it if you want to move forward with this. I mean, Steve, that's right. I mean, I don't see it other way. You're still going to have to vote on it as a group. I want you to, because my board has to vote on it too.
I think it'll be part of your budget calculations. But if we're going to do this quick, this is a quick project. I'm just telling you, not that I'm opposed, and I'm agnostic to all these issues. You're going to have to factor that into what your decision making in your next budget session. If in April, May, and June.
I think we have to have the letter in front of us before we can before we're gonna feel comfortable. And if we can't vote on it, then we're gonna have to kick the can down till May, because
I'll find out. Let me talk to Steve Durbin, make sure that we're okay. Mr. Anderson has a good point. I think he's got so I didn't go to that training, but I guarantee he listened.
Mary listened better than that.
Okay.
Right.
So I think
She was there to carry you.
if Kelly gets the letter, to me this week,
I can have the letter to you in 20 minutes if you want me to bring it to you tonight.
give the letter
I
to,
hope to be out of here.
give the letter
I
to
can have
us.
it to you in 10 minutes. Which one do you want?
I don't think that's necessary. If we can look at it at the next
Okay.
budget workshop.
Sure.
And if it only requires a consensus, it doesn't have to be an action item at the meeting.
If we have to have some type of special call meeting or something, we'll work through that issue as well.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Williams.
you. Sorry.
I appreciate all your.
Thank you
Sorry,
very much.
sorry it's tight, but that's, we
It
just
is
got
what it
this. It is what it is. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
You want these?
No, I'm gonna leave them with Steve in case y'all need to review them.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take one of mine back, my board. I'll tell you what, I'll leave Steve one and I'll take two with me. So my group can come in and look at it. That's cool with you guys.
We appreciate you putting all that together.
Well,
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr.
Well, we had to do a quick turnabout there to try to get the money a little more reasonable, so. These architects like to make things bigger than they should be sometimes. I just gotta work with them.
I agree with you. He's pretty good though.
He's really good. He's top notch. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
All
y'all.
right, moving on. We have a resolution for regional water.
Just real quick, I'm sorry. I did run numbers, I forgot to, 3 million, 20 years, 250 a year, 2 million, ran it 20 years, is 165K. Roughly 5.5%. So that kind of gives you some numbers to start
One
thinking
more
about.
time, Steve.
Yep. If you did a $3 million, depending on what, I know Kelly had proposed a couple different things. And so 3 million over 20 years was around 250, 260 is our payment. 2 million loan over 20 years was 165K. We certainly have some funds aside that we can put towards this project. We'll talk about those at the budget meeting as well. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Thank you, Mr. Ward. We have a resolution, regional water supply plan, DEQ requirement. This is just a
Yeah.
boilerplate that we have to do every year.
I'll give you a Reader's Digest on it. It's a, I'm sorry, Chair. This came from Aaron Sizemore. It's got to be passed by our local governing body and submitted back by May 30th. So we can be submitted to DEQ. State code requires a regional water supply plan completed by 2029. Nobody's happy about it. Everybody's got to do it. Mount Rogers PDC is going to do the lion's share of the work. It will cost us some money. I don't know how much yet, but the first task is going to be to hire an engineer, which they will do. And that's it. If you don't read it, I don't want to read it.
Anybody want to read it? Let's waive the reading. It's a resolution. I'd entertain a motion to vote on a resolution for the regional water supply plan that's required by DEQ.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Cornett. Ms. Thompson.
Aye.
I'm also aye. We have a couple board appointments.
Yes, sir. The first three, Reseda, Solid Waste, CPMT, are all staff. I would just recommend same staff take on those alternate roles. The EDA is Ms. Hash no longer wishes to serve. Her term has expired. And we're still waiting on somebody for the Senior Advocacy Committee and Whitfield WCC, Ms. McKnight is willing to serve another term.
I think Mike is gonna provide us somebody from his district.
I think on the EDA, we wait for Mr. Mike to get back. I think we can blanket approve the request of staff on the rest of the appointments.
Was the senior advocacy group, did she want to serve again?
No.
She did.
That's my understanding, but no, she did not. I have not.
Okay, we'll just keep looking for that one, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's gonna require a motion to blanket approve staff recommendations for the 3 then.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor, signify.
Mr. Alger,
Oh, any discussion?
Yeah, would you also be interested in, it says, Patsy McNaught also wants to serve another term on the Whitfield Community College Board. Would you be interested in amending the motion to include that?
I thought it was included in.
We only said 3.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
can we just amend the motion and keep second?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Sorry, thanks for that. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. Request public hearing for FY 25-26. I think that has to be a motion, there has to be action from the board to request that, and this is just simply the time frame for the budget. Once we finalize, we have to request a public hearing now. Is that right? Because it's 4 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the
Gotta
number.
advertise. It's May
Yep.
8th, coming up on May 8th, for a public hearing.
So can we simply do this from a motion and a vote?
Yes.
Okay. Entertain a motion to request public hearing for the 25-26 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Does this have to be roll call, Mr. Moore? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next thing on the agenda is the Baywood School. We have to transfer ownership from the county to the EDA to be able to do any type of gifting with or selling. So I simply need a motion. We probably need to get the wording right on this, Mr. Boyer. So
The current deed shows the county as the owner. We would like to request to transfer the ownership to the Grayson County Economic Development.
if I could have a motion in that order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all those.
I guess some discussion.
Any discussion? I'm sorry.
Knew it.
So if the EDA sells that, does that go back into the county or does that go into the EDA?
It would go into the EDA.
Okay. No question?
You still on your motion?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. All right, brings us to county administrator's short report.
Yes, sir. Burn ban effective until 4:30. Is that correct, Linda? So burn ban still effective. Just as a reminder to the board, our next budget session is 4/17. And Mike's not here. I'll catch up with him on an IDA meeting with Rooftop on tomorrow. That's all I have, sir.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
In that meeting next week, can we have a closed session during that time?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay, Mr. Chair?
At next week's budget
Next
meeting.
yeah.
I will not be here for the next budget meeting. I can be available by Zoom, probably. So I'll take my county computer. I'll make sure that thing's wired for sound, and I'll take it.
Just take your phone, Zoom on your phone if you download it.
There you go. That'll work.
I have it on my phone.
Would we want to put that at the beginning or the end of the meeting? The closed session. At the end?
Well, I don't know if it matters. You have to do it after, I think.
If we can't make any action to your earlier comment.
Well, we're not taking action. We're just discussing.
Or you want to do it during the meeting? Is that your thought? Is it?
Yeah. Part of the budget work session, like last week, we went into a closed session,
Okay.
discussing business.
We'll find out.
Okay. And you might find out what code to use for that.
Sure. I understand that.
That's all I have.
You got one more thing?
What's that?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah, make motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion say, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm also aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.